better? Sorry about that.
You're recording, mister.
Mike, are you there?
Roger that.
Okay, and you can see Jen's screen, right?
Correct.
Okay, we'll get started. I'll call the meeting to order. Jen, will you take roll call?
Commissioner Wire.
Here.
Commissioner Shaw.
Here.
Commissioner Waldner.
Here.
Commissioner Thill.
Here.
Mayor Denner.
Here. We have the agenda in front of us. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So approved. Second.
Sure you can have it.
We have a motion and a second. Jen, will you take roll call, please?
Commissioner Waldner.
Aye.
Commissioner Thill.
Aye.
Commissioner Shaw.
Aye.
Commissioner Wire.
Aye.
And Mayor Denner.
Aye. Seeing there's no appearances or acknowledgement, we'll move down into consent calendar. Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Not hearing any. Well, Jen, will you take roll call?
Commissioner Wire.
Yes. Aye.
Commissioner Shaw.
Aye.
Commissioner Waldner.
Aye.
Commissioner Thill.
Aye.
Mayor Denner.
Aye. Not seeing anything under unfinished business, we'll move down into new business. Item number 1 is Chad. Authorize the mayor to sign memorandum of understanding and agreement. First Premier Bank install asphalt concrete surfacing on alley. Block 3 Town Proprietor First Edition. Are you there, Chad? Can we slip down to item 2?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll move down to item 2. This one's Brad. Authorize the mayor to sign task order number 9 for professional service DGR engineer long range plan update.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commissioners, you should have in your packet the task order number 9. This is to do the long-range plan for the electric system. The current plan, which was done in 2012, we've completed everything with the exception of one thing on it, and we need to do a new plan. That way we can, go over everything, get an estimate of value, lay it all out so that it makes sense dollar-wise what we're going to do for the future. We've got quite a few things that we need to look at, and this is the cost of doing that particular study. It's something we've done periodically over the past few years and want to continue doing that. Are there any questions?
Do we have a motion to authorize the mayor to sign task order number 9 for professional service DGR engineering long range plan update?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. I see you sent out some proposed ideals afterwards.
Yes.
Okay.
That's just an idea generator. There's nothing on there that's definite. There's nothing on there that's excluded. It's just something to, it's like a brainstorming idea. You throw everything out and consider it and look at it and tried to generate everybody's best ideas for what we can do for the future for the system.
I appreciated that, Brad.
Yeah.
It was something really nice to take a look at and kind of get an idea what direction you're heading, so where you'd like to see us to get to, especially as we continue to grow as a community.
Thank you.
Is this something our electrical engineer is working with this DGR to, on the upgrade?
Yeah, this is DGR
Yeah,
that's doing this, yes.
but is this something that our electrical engineer out there is working with this company on doing stuff?
Well, DGR is our electrical engineer.
Yeah, but don't you have engineers on staff out there?
No, I mean myself, I'm an engineer, but
Well, I thought Minner was.
she works as a GIS and project engineer, yes.
Okay, that's what I was asking. Thank you. I have no other comment.
Who are my motions? Can I ask that, please?
I made the motion, Jerry seconded.
Thank you.
Is there any further comments or discussion?
Got one on the floor.
Yeah.
I just wonder what the cost is to that.
It's 29,600.
It's in the packet somewhere.
Any further comments, questions? Not hearing any. Jen, will you take roll call?
Commissioner Wire?
Aye.
Commissioner Shaw?
Aye.
Commissioner Waldner?
Aye.
Commissioner Thill?
Aye.
Mayor Danner?
Aye. Chad, are you on now?
Yeah,
Okay.
seems like I'm unmuted now, so I could hear you the whole time, I just couldn't hear me.
Okay. We will move back to item number 1, authorize the mayor to sign memorandum of understanding and agreement. First Premier Bank install asphalt concrete surfacing on alley block 3, town proprietor, first edition. You want to give us some upgrades on that?
Yes, I can, thank you, Mayor Danner and members of the commission, and members of the public, present or listening. Included in the agenda packet is a 2-page memorandum of, let me see how we titled that, memorandum of understanding and agreement, and then a plan sheet from the project for the bank that they're created. The plan sheet is stamped by a gentleman named Aaron Norman, the PE there, and it shows the surfacing component there. So that's what's in the agenda packet. And to give some background, I guess the other thing I should say, I've been coordinating with Attorney Jinks on this as well, obviously. And this is an agreement, similar to an agreement that you all have seen in the past. A couple of years ago, I think it was the most recent, prior to the 2016 highway project, we entered into a similar memorandum of agreement and understanding with Methodist Church when they paved the alley near their property there as well. And so you can see the terms of the MOU. Basically, it says they'll do the design, installation, maintenance on this, and the city will accomplish snow removal with one path through the alley, because part of the alley is not going to be improved, part near Pizza Hut. And so I've coordinated with the street superintendent there to confirm he's acceptable to this, but it also specifically makes note that we will not deal with any windrow, because the timing, some of you may or may not be aware, the timing of the snow removal in alleys typically follows that of the street. And so if we come through, we or the street department comes through and will take their one path through there, we're not going to be responsible for the windrow. I've had a few conversations with Mr. Floyd Rummel. I think he's there as well. Talk about this. I'll let him speak for himself, but it seemed like this could be something that could be coordinated specific to the snow removal. And so if I would back up even more, and I apologize for jumping around here a little bit, the bank has proposed their site plan, and they wanted to use this alley as an aisle, and that's a term that's mentioned in the zoning ordinance. In other words, they wanted to drive in and park onto their property using the alley as essentially an aisle. And so it says in the zoning ordinance that all aisles and parking spots and so on have to be paved. So we approached the bank and said, well, it appears that this ordinance says this, and if you want to utilize that alley that way, it would be appropriate that you consider paving that alley. Now, it is a public alley. It's not private property. So we don't take that lightly when we made that request to them. But over the course of several months, we've had a fair amount of dialogue, letting them know that we've done this before. And this such agreement that you see before you is what we've used to memorialize the arrangement that we have, and this will be recorded at the courthouse. Furthermore, in the zoning ordinance, it says if you're going to use an aisle, an alley as an aisle, it has to be a little bit wider than normal. So it does show, if you look on the plan sheet prepared by Mr. Norman that I referred to earlier, if you look at that, you can see that paved surface in the alley, which is to serve as the bank's driveway aisle, that paved surface is wider than the actual width of the alley. And that's actually required by ordinance when they want to use it that way. So what they did is they opted just to widen, pave a strip along the alley wider than the actual alley width, and make that as part of their configuration for their parking and driveways and so on. So this appears to be in full compliance with the zoning ordinance. We have a good partner here. It'll be a paved alley. They've signed it, so you can tell that they understand the responsibilities therein. It seems like a reasonable plan, and I would recommend we proceed approving it. I'm happy to stand by for questions.
Okay. Do I have a motion to authorize the mayor to sign memorandum of understanding and agreement, First Premier Bank install asphalt concrete surfacing on alley block 3 town proprietor first edition?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further comments, discussion? Floyd, did you have any?
I don't have any other comments. I'm just here to answer any questions you guys have.
Okay.
If needed.
And like Chad said, you guys are fully aware if you clean your parking lot before we get to the alley.
Correct.
But hopefully we can work out a plan with Gary and the crew. So.
Chad and I talked about it. I mean, we'll
Okay.
figure it out as it goes along here. But
Okay.
I understand that the alleys are not a priority, so
Right.
we'll probably have to clean it anyway, and they come through and anything like that.
Okay. That was the only real concern I had. Any other questions? Not hearing any. Jen, will you take roll call?
Commissioner Waldner?
Aye.
Commissioner Thill?
Aye.
Commissioner Wire?
Aye.
Commissioner Shaw?
Aye.
Mayor Denner?
Aye. Move down to item 3. This one's Jen. Jen, will you bring us up to speed? Adopt a resolution number 2020-24. Direct and set date of public hearing on assessment rolls for sidewalk improvement 2019.
I I can. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You have before you two resolutions that pretty much mirror each other. The first one is resolution number 2020-24. Goes through, there's 11 sections here, and it goes through the awarded bid of the sidewalk improvement project 2019. More than 20 days have passed since the resolution of necessity was adopted. The total amount of the assessment roll filed in the finance office on August 31st was $22,328.22. When these are assessed to the property owners via the special assessment process, they will be done so in 5 equal installments with an annual interest rate of 6.25%. Then we also this evening need to set a hearing 2 weeks from today, the 28th of September. And we will publish the notice for the said hearing. Also, as part of your packet is the actual assessment roll as filed. We'll have to make some tweaks to this. I have talked to Chad. I've also talked to Dan. When I get my full-time staff back, we'll need to make some adjustments. Within the last legislative session in 2020, Chapter 9-46 of codified law entitled Sidewalk Improvements was about 90% repealed. They now want us to take, instead of using Chapter 946, we use Chapter 943, which is for all special assessments, not just sidewalks. There is, like I said, some tweaking we're going to have to do in this process. We will get that up to snuff, but we can move forward this evening with your adopting the resolution so that we can set the date of hearing, publish the notice. You will see with resolution number 2020-24, there are 7 property owners for sidewalk improvement 2019. They all need to be issued letters tomorrow, along with a copy of the notice for hearing. Chad can jump in on anything he wants to add, or we'll entertain questions from the group.
Yeah, these are, if I may, this is just the property owners who have either opted to just have the city accomplish these the sidewalk installation, and then or they just have not done it. But this was back in 2019, and so this is a process basically by which we the city recoup the costs we've incurred for installing either new sidewalk. Well, one of these is for new sidewalk, and the other one is for repairs. But we recoup our costs for that.
When do we recruit it totally? When will it be done?
In 5 years.
In 5 years.
Yep.
So
In 5 years starting, so we will file it yet this fall with the first payment due in 2021, and then the next 4 years after 2021.
And they're all aware that they're getting their letters, or?
They have gotten, 2 or 3 letters already, Chad? This process started way back in December of 2018.
Okay.
Correct, and actually with the repairs, they had received some initial flyers on their door prior to July 1st of 2018, and then there was subsequent letters that during the summer of 2018, and then some of the final letters, indeed, as you mentioned, was late 2018 or early 2019.
You will see that the assessment roll is per property along with what is owed on each property.
any further comments, discussion? Not hearing any. Jen, will you take roll call?
Do we have to have a motion?
We don't have a motion
I'll
yet, sir.
make the motion.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
My bad.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion. We have a second. Jen, you want to take roll call?
Commissioner Waldner?
Aye.
Commissioner Thill?
Aye.
Commissioner Wire?
Aye.
Commissioner Shaw?
Aye.
Mayor Denner?
Aye. Item 4 is Jen. Adopt the resolution number 2020-25 direct and set a date of public hearing on the assessment rules for sidewalk improvement, repairs improvement 2019.
Correct. This is now for the repair improvement, not the new construction, but the repairs of the current sidewalk improvements. Once again, you'll see 11 pieces to this resolution, much of the same, the awarded bid, the resolution 2018-31 adopted back in December of 2018, filed on the 31st day of August, the same 5 years at the same 6.25%. This one you will see a total of $10,596.98. There are 14 of these properties, same process. Letters have to go out in the next couple days along with the copy of the resolution.
Do I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2020-25, direct and set a date of public hearing? Is it the same date, Jen?
It is.
Okay.
Yep.
September 28th?
Correct.
Okay. Set the date of public hearing on assessed roll for sidewalk repair improvement 2019.
So moved.
Second.
I did have one question, Jen. We don't charge any interest on this. It's just
That'll come from
6%?
6.25
6.25.
Okay.
to be assessed on the day that we file it with the Lake County Auditor. And then it's X amount of days through 2020 along with the next 5 years.
Okay.
Okay?
So the amount for each one of these is just what we did, correct? And
It
then
is
on
the
top,
construction and then the admin fee.
then the admin fee. Okay. Thank you. Any further comment or discussion?
There is a, I should say, Mayor, there is an administrative fee per city policy added to these two. I didn't hear clearly if that was understood or not, but I thought I would point that out.
Yep, Jen got that. Thank you, Chad. Not hearing any other comments or discussion. Jen, will you take roll call?
Commissioner Shaw?
Aye.
Commissioner Sill?
Aye.
Commissioner Blair?
Aye.
Commissioner Waldner?
Aye.
Mayor Denner?
Aye. Item 5, discuss Tyler Technology software conversion project. I put this on after visiting with Commissioner Shaw. I guess we've been dealing with this since 2018. We've had some hiccups in it. We pushed her back. Probably 3 times so far on go live. I guess I'm just at the point where before we move on, I want to know if everybody's still on board moving forward, or some input on it. So,
How much have we invested into it? Do we know that?
staff time?
No, just in general.
Staff time, they didn't keep track. I would say did you say 180? Close to it?
I have not had time to tie that out. Do remember that not all of the investment has been lost. We have a chart of accounts. We have different pieces that are done in there. We did pay our project consultant, correct title, I don't know his correct title, but he was here for a couple weeks. We paid him for his time. We pay his travel, lunches, everything that goes. So not everything that we have paid has been lost. Please know that.
I've been pretty clear all along that I want us to get this done. There's a lot of components to this that I think we probably maybe bit off more than we can chew in what I've read and tried to gather over the last 12 weeks, 10 weeks I've been here. But I just feel like we've invested a lot of money into something that really needs to get done, in my opinion. And Mike might have more history on this than I. Mike, are you on there?
Yeah, you know, with two new commissioners, you guys weren't there when the commission approved this and actually purchased it. And, you know, it's one of those things, and I've worked with software installs and obviously a lot of technology projects over 20, 25 years, and so you know, it's a difficult place to be, and myself and my departments, I mean, we weren't intimately involved in this because this project basically came from the electrical department and also the finance department. And both of those departments came to the commission and said, listen, this is what we need. This is what we want. I looked at it from kind of a technology perspective and also from a citizen's perspective, and was like, yeah, this is a nice there's other ones out there in the nation, and these guys are a front runner with a lot of other towns and a lot of other municipalities, and it has some great services potential directly for our citizens in Madison. I mean, being able to have an app where I can pay my bill online with that app, and I know we can pay our bill online now, but our online thing is terrible, and there's some security issues with it. Some of our security people at DSU have pointed out to me, you know, that's never been fixed. There's some other things. So for sure, what we have today needs to be replaced. Now, Commissioner Shaw kind of said it really well in that I also agree that we bid off too much. And unfortunately, you know, here again, everybody wants everything and they all want it tomorrow. And I get that. I understand that. But when you're doing a conversion, you have to look at this, and they have a bunch of modules, but you know what? Maybe we shouldn't have bought all those modules. Maybe we need to put them back on the shelf. We've already held off the electrical department a couple of times, and the electrical department has met all of their deadlines. The finance office has not. And that and this is just pure facts. And again, I'm kind of looking at this from an outsider perspective who's worked with technology, conversions, and different things. And like I said, it did not impact my departments that I oversee. But I do know that everybody met their deadlines with the exception of the finance office. And so that's what put the brakes on all of this. And I know that there's been a lot of excuses, but quite honestly, this thing's been 2.5, almost 3 years. We're $200,000 into this. And that's not counting staff time. And I understand that some of the work that we've done can still be in place, but I also know a lot of the work that Tyler has done, they have to come back and redo it again. And so that to me is something that's unacceptable. And I'm sorry, but Madison, we can do better. This is really it's incredible that it hasn't been done on a timely fashion. I mean, we're into 12 to 18 months project here, and now we're another 12 months out. And so, you know, from my perspective as a commissioner, and I'm not going to speak for the other ones, but I can tell you that we budget, we purchased it. As a commission, you expect staff, especially when they come to you and say, I want this, you expect them to perform. You expect them to put it in place and to be able to utilize it, install it, get it done. Come back and show me how cool it is. I'll be the first to try the app. I got 20 students. I got 25, 50 faculty that'll test it. Let's go. Let's get this thing moving. And here we sit 2.5, 3 years later already, and we have nothing to show yet. And it's from my seat, and kind of the reason that I say that is we also bought a piece of software, and it was for public safety. So, and again, the commission, the police chief, and the Lake County Sheriff, and the 911 center, they all came, and we split the cost of this piece of software, and the commission approved it, bought it, and walked away from it. 3 or 6 months later, I'm talking, of course, that was in my department, and so I'm talking, and I'm following through on this, and I'm seeing the progress on it, and within 3 to 6 months, it's installed. They're still using it, and that's even cross-governmental entities, 3 different governmental entities, and they were able to get it done. We're not even able to get it done within the city of Madison because our departments weren't able to do it. And so that's the facts as I know them, sitting in my seat. Commissioner Thiel, he was the finance commissioner. Maybe he's got some additional comments on it. I know that myself and the other then 2 commissioners, I mean, we quizzed Bob. Boy, for a while there it was weekly, right, Bob? I mean, we're all trying to figure out what's going on with this thing. And so maybe he has some additional comments.
Yeah, there was a lot of teamwork that wasn't developing between the departments out there. It wasn't just all the finance. It's the whole electrical and everything else that wasn't working totally together. I'm not sticking up for the finance, but I'm sorry, you got to work together as a team on this, and there's a lot of times you got to put your differences aside and work for 8-10 hours out of the day every day, and then what you do on weekends is your own business. So now we're down 3 people in the finance office, and I don't know what's going to happen. I hope to get back on track with this because I think it's a good program.
Yeah, I'll agree with you, Bob, that there was a lot of different things that went south on this, including some of our department heads, staff, whoever, however, and we've addressed those things. This is not the place to address personnel things, but and you're absolutely right. At the same time, you know, when you give a task to employees, to department heads, you expect that to happen. You expect those deadlines to be met. And quite honestly, and I'm sorry to the citizens in Madison, last year was not a banner year for getting deadlines done, and it was shameful, absolutely shameful, and this is a waste. It's a waste of, you know, time, effort, taxpayer monies. This is a very bad deal, and when a deadline isn't made for this, because, and so therefore other departments can't move forward and do what they need to do, even though they've met their deadlines and they're sitting there waiting. That is just unacceptable in my book. And so, you know, I don't know enough of the actual product to know if, you know, what kind of a rebate do we get? Can we send this thing back? Do we send all of it back? Do we get just part of it? The electrical department, they want it, they like it. Can we do just them and forget about the finance side because they're not getting it done, they're not meeting the deadlines? So let's forget that module and just let the electric. I don't know enough about the product to know, and I haven't been talking with Tyler. I do know that we had discussions, and I think that's part of the discussion tonight as well, that, you know, we've talked about, well, let's bring in a Tyler expert, bring in a hired gun who's an expert on this, and let them take it over for us, pay that consultant to do what's not getting done because our staff's not doing it. So let's pay somebody to get it done and take it to that next level to do that. Well, I was told that we can't have consultants because then we end up doing all the work anyway, and excuse after excuse after excuse. And quite honestly, it was terrible excuses. State government, DSU, organizations, private, nonprofit, they always use consultants. Always. And if you don't know how to operate with a consultant, then step aside. We'll get somebody who does know how to operate with consultants. That's the way you move things forward, especially in an expedited manner if you want to. That's just the way it works.
We did have a call with Tyler today, and they did say that we could, you know, pick pieces of it at least to get it up and going. So maybe that's an avenue we need to explore.
Yes. Okay. I guess I just basically brought it up. We just wanted to make sure everybody was still on the same page.
I'm still on the same page of we need to move forward.
And I am too. So.
I am too.
Okay.
Mayor,
Yes.
can I address this?
Yep. You can come on up, grab the mic there so we can hear you, George.
You know, I don't know any of the circumstances, but it sounds to me like the finance department is the whole root of the problem. They're the ones that caused it all. That's not it. The buck stops with you five guys right here. I don't care what you tell these managers to do. It's up to you to see that it's done. So don't blame a department or don't blame a manager. Blame yourself for not following through. And I know you two guys are new. You weren't really even involved in this. I'm talking about the ones that were and the one that's just up here.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. I concur with Mr. Lee, but this is not a venue for a commissioner to air dirty laundry as they perceive it. If you have that much concern about a situation, then step up and become a solution instead of a problem. In my experience, and echoing Mr. Lee, if there's something going awry, then as a leader, you come together and constructively resolve a problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Go down into item 6, update COVID-19. Anybody have anything?
I don't. I know, and I know wearing masks isn't the most spectacular thing in the world, but obviously we've done it in the school and we've done it well because we, knock on wood, have not had a case of COVID yet, and our kids have complied and done very well. So there is some research to this, and our goal is to keep things moving and keep our community growing and, keep the money moving in our community. And I know it's not spectacularly fun to wear a mask, but right now it's proven science. It seems to be working. So, and I obviously don't care to get in any mask wars like the city of Brookings is dealing with right now either. So, I think it's use your heads, do what's right. That's the biggest piece.
Okay. Public comment. Pat?
I appeared in front of the commission last week, and I just want to thank the street department and the commission for seeing the situation that was there and the positive reaction that they took. There's another step, just talking, another step they're going to complete. Got to wait for weather and a bunch of other things. But I, as the representative of Oakwood East, thank the commission, thank the street department, because they were there the next day. So thank you, guys. Thank you, street department.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any announcements?
Yes, I'd like to know, Chad, are you still on there? Yeah, I've had a couple people from the west part of town wondering when is that contractor going to start working Saturday, since they have Labor Day and some rain dates to get caught up so the people don't have to be in gravel throughout the winter.
Well, I don't really have an announcement to make, but the contractor has deadlines to meet, and he's well aware of them. There's a construction weekly meetings where we talk about meeting the completion schedule. So he knows what his schedule is, and if he doesn't meet it, I can't tell him. And first of all, that's not we can't really force them to work. On Saturdays, I believe. We can encourage them if it looks like their schedules aren't going to meet it, but we've been talking about that closely with Banner, who's overseeing that for us to determine how they're doing the schedule and if they can meet their completion requirements for this year.
Well, I had a couple people ask me, and I told them I would bring it up at the meeting and see. So that's what I did. Thank you.
Chad, what is the date?
Yes, and you can always call me up at any time in the office, and I'd be happy to visit with you or any citizens as well.
Chad, not to put you on the spot, but is there a completion date or that we could communicate?
Yes, I don't have it in front of me. I'm a little disadvantage.
Fair enough.
In the office and such, but yeah, absolutely. There's completion date requirements with provisions for liquidated damages if they don't meet them and so on. Included as part of this project. Yep.
Chad, will you just email us those dates so if we get questioned, so we can just let people know?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chad.
I did have one announcement. I guess on Saturday, this is getting kind of out in the weeds. I guess there was some interactions, or we had a resident of Madison, free speech, which if you guys want to go out and campaign for your presidential or any voting, that's your right. But I would encourage to keep it clean. And we had a situation Saturday. I don't I don't mind people going out campaigning for their candidates, but be decent about it. Thank you.
Just remember, we have kids in the community.
Yes. Any other announcement? Nothing in exec session. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. We will go now into budget.